Welcome to this week's episode of Lagnia-POD. I am your host, Rob Holbert, along with a smaller staff this week. Who's here?
Ashley Trice.
Grant McLaughlin.
And I'm Kyle Hammer.
My voice sounded really weird. I think I was like swallowing some water.
You sounded just fine to me.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel like I sound weird.
Well, maybe people will want to rewind this and listen and see if you do sound weird.
It's a nice sound effect.
It's a rainy Wednesday here as we do this. It is Big Bertha Day. Bertha's going by. I was out on my pier this morning with the waves crashing over the pier and a bunch of logs tearing it to pieces, and it's definitely down on the bay. There's more hurricane activity.
It looked like the deadliest catch down on your dock.
It's a little rough down there. I don't know what we've got going on here.
It's Bertha.
Oh, Big Bertha by the Grateful Dead. Yeah, I wasn't even aware that was a song until yesterday. I'm not familiar with that one.
Come around here no more or something like that.
I'm not familiar with that one. Yeah. But
ladies and gentlemen, that is our special effects.
So that has been
Master Ashley Trice.
I've had a lot of people, and I'm incredulous that the people at the National Weather Service or whoever the hell does it put the name Bertha in here.
Bertha. That's asking for trouble.
It just seems like you're asking for trouble.
Bertha the bulldozer.
I mean, Big Bertha, you're just asking for a Cat 5 hurricane. It doesn't look like we're going to get that, thank God, but it's still just, why would you do that? Now,
it would have made national headlines if that thing turned into a full-sized hurricane and was named Bertha.
I was looking at their site today and trying to get some explanation for why they would do such things, and apparently they have this rotating list of names that they use, and they only take them out if something's really bad, but then they switch between boy and girl names, and so this is what we have this year, where we've already had Arthur. We can scratch Arthur out. We got Bertha
Arthur
right now.
A little bit of
he had a good bit of flooding that he brought.
Arthur caused some flooding. Bertha's going to cause some trouble. Then we go to Cristobal sounds kind of fancy to me.
Yeah, he's going to be nothing.
Check your crystal ball.
Dolly sounds like trouble.
Going to be trouble.
Dolly sounds like trouble. Eduard, Edouard.
Oh, that's like the French spelling of Edward.
Yeah, he's I don't know.
Eddie.
Then you got Faye.
Faye's going to be the worst.
You think Faye's going to be the worst?
I will only. It's
Faye
not
and Dolly.
It's not just the name. It's you got to think about where you're falling in the season once you get. So Frederick F, Katrina K, Ivan I.
I mean, there's a lot of opportunities here that, I mean, we're already to be. Faye could be next week.
Hannah is going to be terrible.
Well, hold on. We jumped over Gonzalo.
Gonzalo
doesn't sound like a troublemaker. Hannah, you think could be trouble?
Hannah and Isaiah.
Like Hanoi Hannah.
Isaias.
I'm trying to read this upside down.
Isai.
Oh, that will definitely be trouble because none of the meteorologists will know how to say it. And
it'll be a sneaky one.
It'll be
one of those, like when we had Georges.
Yeah,
Georges. That was annoying.
Georgia.
And Josephine. That could be troublesome.
Well, that's getting into those eyes and K's.
Now, here's one that's definitely not going to be any trouble. Hurricane Kyle. That sounds like
seriously?
Hurricane Kyle.
You got a Kyle this year. You get a Kyle.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hurricane Kyle's going to be
Hurricane Kyle.
It's going to cause some trouble. Hurricane Kyle. And then you got Leah. Leah, is this Leah? Leah?
Yeah.
Leah.
Yeah.
Marco.
Polo.
Yeah. Nana. I mean, come on. Hurricane Nana. They named one after my grandmother.
She's going to bake us some cookies.
Y'all come on out for the hurricane now. And then Omar. That sounds like a troublemaker.
Yeah. Like the general.
Paulette. I don't know.
Paulette. Yeah, she sounds like a pill.
We get into the Renee.
They didn't retire Sally?
They did not retire Sally. Sally's back. We've got Renee, Sally, Teddy, Vicky, and then if we get to Wilfred, not Wilfred Brimley, it's Wilfred, not Wilford.
I'm moving further north if we get to Wilfred.
Vicky with a Y is the hurricane.
Ooh, she's a pill. She's a pill.
Vicky wants to speak to your manager. Yeah. That's true. Those are what we've got looking forward to this year.
Yeah, that's a good list.
I feel like
I think we should place some Kalshi bets.
Yeah, we should definitely. I mean,
I'm the most destructive.
Dolly's scaring me right now. I don't like Dolly. I don't like.
Faith is one one I'm
You must have been bullied by a fae when you were a kid or something.
No.
I don't know.
Just like I can just see the headline. Fae.
Yeah.
Fae.
Just that the headline just says fae.
Just fae.
I was trying to think
You're good at this headline writer
there's no words. Because there's no words for it. Just
I'm trying to think of some good alliteration. Fae.
Fae
F's up your coast. F's up the
yeah.
coast. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know.
Hannah makes me think of Hanoi. Hannah from Vietnam. That could be bad.
You're reaching now. I think we're just, the only one I'm not scared of is Kyle. That one's not bothering me.
That's good.
That one's just going to fizzle out somewhere in the middle.
God, that's rude.
It's just going to fizzle.
This one will just water your grass.
Let's see what your hurricane's
really
got.
Weak.
It'll water your
Let's
grass.
see what your hurricane's got, Kyle.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see when we get there. We'll see
on the
what you got.
I don't know. I guess that would probably be in October.
I'll tell you what, if Hurricane Kyle ruins my dock, you're in trouble. That's all I got to say.
Stay tuned, folks. Stay tuned.
Well, that's where we are. Okay. That's today's news on the hurricanes. Moving into more serious news of today, we've got you've had a lot going on in Baldwin County with the with ARC with the group home over there.
Yeah,
and that has kind of gotten. I mean, I know it was shut down by the Department of
Alabama Department of
Mental Health, and now there's some pushback. ARC's pushing back on this thing.
Yeah. So days after the Department of Mental Health shut down this group home, which has been in Baldwin County for, I think, around 50 years.
Yeah, it's, I think, 47, I believe.
Yeah.
That's correct.
They filed a lawsuit in Baldwin County Circuit Court asking for Judge Byron Bracken to essentially do like a local judicial review and to put it in what would essentially be a public court, which we've pointed out in my latest article that the Department of Mental Health is kind of unclear as to whether or not a hearing that is expected to occur later this year on the decision to shut the group home down, it will be open to the public. And there's been a lot of accusations thrown around.
But they provided no real specifics at this point of what they say is occurring. And then, we got a letter to the editor the other day from Judge Scully. He's a district court judge over there. He was not writing as a judge. He was writing as a parent of someone who was
writing as Bill.
As Bill Scully. And saying, I've had a daughter in ARC for a long time, and he was very defensive of ARC and what they've done, and said they've done a great job.
Yeah.
And so, and I know the pushback legally is interesting. I think they may not, go quietly at this point, and it seems like there's at least some kind of, it's a little bit of a backlash coming back, and some people saying, hey, they did good work. And we still haven't seen, again, any specifics of what they say, some of the things that happened there led to deaths, but they have not offered any specific information on that.
To just, for those who have not read the story, they essentially accused the ARC Baldwin of very bad record keeping, of potentially manipulating documents that are supposed to be submitted to state officials, of medical care incidents and deaths stemming from some level of neglect, and a whole bunch of other things. But as Rob's saying, they have not provided any specifics. They have declined to provide specifics. And they say it's because ARC Baldwin has appealed this decision with the Department of Mental Health.
Right.
So they were going to get a special hearing officer, Charles Malone, former Chief Justice, and he's going to preside over this kind of quasi, case.
Right.
And, I think ARC Baldwin has been told not to talk about any of this, is what Kathy Fleet told me. She's the executive director.
Right.
And so they're trying to get this in Baldwin County Court, I think, the way I'm interpreting it, as a way to kind of get their side of the story out there. Yeah. And they're saying that the department violated state law by shutting them down the way they did.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot on this on both sides. There's a lot of things that are going on.
This just amazes me when that Remember all those stories
Oh,
that
yeah.
we did on the unlicensed group homes,
Yes.
that are still going on?
Yeah, we did tons
today,
of stories on
but
those.
yet,
Yeah.
I mean, which had zero oversight. But
Right.
Yeah. One of the this is the last thing I'll say on this. One of the really interesting parts of this is that the Department of Mental Health wanted to shut down ARC Baldwin in March.
Yeah.
Their final review, which found all of these apparently horrible things going on, was concluded in March, and they waited until July to remove residents who were in the care of ARC Baldwin.
Yeah, that's a strange one, and that's something that Bill Scully pointed out in his letter to the editor. But yeah, we'll keep following it, and I think this is obviously a developing story. You also spent a lot of time in Orange Beach this week, and on the Orange Beach beat, has there been any more explosion over there? How was the city council yesterday? Was it calmer?
They were chummy.
They
were chummy.
Yes.
The last month in Orange Beach has just been described as fire, brimstone, animosity. I mean, the infighting has been pretty bad. But this yesterday, at the very beginning of like a 3-hour long work session meeting, the mayor issued like a public apology to his colleagues on the council.
That's a new one. That's a rarity.
I don't think Tony Kennon's ever said I'm sorry
before
yesterday. I've never heard him say
it's not something I've heard him say very often. That's an interesting one.
Yeah. But they all kind of went around the table saying, "Gosh, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Let's just get back to the business of Orange Beach." But none of the issues that caused any of that, all that infighting, are gone.
Yeah.
The Ethics Commission is still investigating Tony Kennon. The Ethics Commission is still investigating a bunch of other stuff,
right,
that has been asked of them in Orange Beach. And council members, including Ginger Harrelson, who I think will eventually be the one to maybe kind of push this through, will likely still try to introduce a resolution to release the body camera footage of Tony Kennon from Labor Day 2024, which kind of started this whole infighting. So that's all still going on, but they kind of want to leave the political theater to Hollywood.
Got you. And Kyle, speaking of dysfunctional cities, we have one over here north of Mobile. Pritchard has been really going at it the last few days. We've had police officers arrested. We've got the mayor and council filing lawsuits with each other, and there's a lot going on right now.
Yeah, there's a whole lot, and this has just been going on for weeks, for months. The latest thing here is we've got the city council and the mayor of Pritchard, Carletta Davis, have been in this lawsuit that the mayor filed, claiming that the council has overstepped its power to investigate and to look into the finances. She has asked for that to go to mediation, but the council says that they don't have a lot of faith that that's going to produce an answer to the problems that they say have gone on in the city. We've had 2 cops charged with some corruption, some bribery in past weeks,
and then you had the other day in probate court, Judge Mark Irwin had some very strong words for a police officer in Pritchard about the way he's been handling his wife's her estate.
Right. This was a court case from last year where Aaron Tucker was found to have been misusing the hundreds of thousands of dollars in
$500,000.
Half a million. His wife, Jackie Tucker, was the Saraland cop who was shot in the head in 2017.
Right.
She was incapacitated as a result of that. They set up a trust, a conservatorship for her, and
had bunches of fundraisers,
a
things
lot
like
of
that.
funds, some money from the DOJ
They brought
to
in
help out.
roughly $500,000.
Right,
More than $500,000.
570 something thousand.
Yeah.
But Judge Irwin found that Aaron Tucker had misused that money, had largely spent it on going to the casinos in Mississippi.
That's crazy.
Bought a food truck, bought like a $97,000 van that was supposed to be.
Maybe he bought the food truck from Pritchard. Remember, didn't he have a missing one?
Yeah,
they did have
a missing food truck. Yeah.
I don't know, but he also bought this big fancy van that was supposed to be, like help his wife get around town, but it didn't have like lifts or ramps or anything. So there was a judgment put out of $300,000 to him, that he had to pay back. And that's
I know. Even as we're sitting here today, there's supposed to be a press conference this afternoon pertaining to Pritchard as well.
That's what we've been told,
and that we think we'll have even some more shocking stuff that comes down. So, but people will have to just as they're listening to this, it probably will be online at the same time.
They'll have to subscribe to Lagnia-POD.com.
Right.
It just raises a question though: when a city just falls apart like this, like what measures can you take to fix it?
I mean, Pritchard is at this point a totally dysfunctional water board.
Yeah.
The city council and mayor are fighting. You have
the infrastructure problems are
enormous. And then you have on top of that, the police department at this point looks like it is in a complete free fall. The sheriff's department they're already operating it essentially, and it's
planning
for a full takeover.
It may be a full takeover. So I mean, there is a lot there that suggests that Pritchard is not really capable of handling itself as a city any longer. I don't know. It's a real mess. But we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come right back and talk a little bit more. And we are back. Data centers also continue to be in the news. That's a big issue here.
Yes. Two-headed frogs, infertile cows.
Infertile frogs and cows.
My God, the heat.
The heat. You wrote a lot this week, Ashley, about some of that and what your take is on gubernatorial candidate Tommy Tuberville's support for data centers.
Yeah, I mean, so basically he came out last week and said that, he was at the Sheriff's Association meeting and said, you know what? Data centers are good for the state. It's good for the economic development. You better like them. We're getting them. They're coming.
Right.
And, my take on that is like, look, I'm not sure what I think about data centers. Do I want them in my backyard? No one wants them in their own backyard. But I also really enjoy technology and AI. And
you're a big fan of the AI.
I am.
Would you like to spend a lot of time on that AI?
I'm in love with my AI chat bot or whatever. He told me I deserved a vacation yesterday.
Well, I mean,
oh wow,
he knows how to butter you up for sure.
But anyway, I mean, although like if I would be breaking up with him very quickly if my power bill goes up $350 a month. There is a price, you have to pay for it. So yes. I mean, the jury's still out, I guess, on how I feel about it personally. But living in this state, I can tell you the overwhelming view on data centers by the residents of the state of Alabama is not very popular. They do not want them. And with Tuberville saying that just shows me that he doesn't have his finger on the pulse of this state. And why is that? Because he does not live here. Like, even if he was like, yeah, Trump says the data centers are good, so we're getting him, he would know better than to come out so strongly in favor of them, I would think. So I just think it's just a really prime example of how he doesn't get this state.
Or do you think maybe he does get the state, that he just feels like he doesn't have to worry about anything he says because he's the Republican candidate and that's just how it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
and when he goes back to Florida after, let's say, 4 or 8 years, does he care if there's a data center in Stockton or a solar farm in Stockton or a data center in Pritchard or any other number of places in the state where they're putting him? Does he care? Why should he? I mean, they're not going to put one on 30A. So.
No. The claim is that, and this is what he has said and what, he said basically they're money machines. It's just going to be pouring money into the community because, tax money into the municipalities and to the counties. I still really question that and where we are with this, because it is happening so quickly. And like you, I'm not dead set against data centers. I don't hate them or anything. I think that they maybe need to be in places that I don't know exactly how much heat they put out. I don't know how much noise they make. I don't know how much light they create at night. I don't know what the nuisances are around them that have been portrayed. I mean, I'm not worried that they're going to make cows infertile or frogs have two heads, but I'm sure there are some detrimental issues with them. That said, we do need processing power to do if we're going to have AI.
Yeah.
But I think, as we said before, you get into this, and we need to come into it from the start knowing how much do we have.
Yeah.
How much?
What areas?
How much juice do we have? Do we have enough power for this?
Right. I mean, and why? I mean, I think it should be shared pretty equally, like around the state and around the country. Like we don't need 10 in South Alabama. We need them spread across the state.
Well, and I think that's one of the things you look at.
And I don't think anybody's putting any thought into it, except for these private land owners and people who are say, oh, there are no zoning laws there, so let's go.
Well, and that's why you're seeing so many of these things come rushing into the Southeast in particular, because we have a lot less. We're not paying as much attention to some of these things. We have a lot fewer restrictions on it, and so let's pop one up here and let's do that. And I mean, as the county said the other day, hey, we can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
it's zoned for that. So we can't really do anything to stop it. And, if people want to put them here, they apparently are okay to do so. I'm not for a moratorium per se, but I am for at least having some kind of accounting of what we have. What is it going to do if we have 5 more of these things?
Right. I mean, is it going to damage our grid? We're going to constantly have blackouts and stuff if we get too many of these.
Right.
I mean, it's just.
Is it what's going to be the effect if we have a hurricane?
Right.
Who's going to get the power back on first?
Yeah.
Is it going to be a priority to get the data centers power back on first because it's generating money for Alabama Power and for the community versus getting your power on first? I think all those things. Those are questions that we ought to have answers to prior to being fully selling out into this.
Yeah.
I mean,
and there have been examples of data centers coming into other states where the companies actually were required to, if the data center was going to increase the amount of power the grid needed to put out, they were responsible for paying for a portion of the upgrades for the grid. They would have to come in and pay for a new power generating facility. But I haven't really seen that in any of the deals I've read about in Alabama.
Well, I mean, and you're from Texas, Grant, but I mean, Texas and Georgia have more going up than anywhere in the country, and Texas can't even handle a freeze.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's so now you're putting all those there.
Right.
I mean,
Texas is already overwhelmed with their grid's already overwhelmed, and we could easily be in. I mean, we already pay the highest power bills in the Southeast. And some of the highest in the country. If this creates a circumstance in which there's a scarcity of electricity because of that, or creates an issue where the grid is not capable and we have to put a lot more money into it.
This is why people are buying those meals for their bunkers.
Those
MRE
grid meals.
Yeah.
Grid meals.
I was making fun of them a couple of years ago, but now I might.
Now you're
ask
going
your AI
to
buddy what you should do.
Go into the military surplus.
He'll say it's fine.
It's fine.
You'll
go
on
them.
vacation.
They're delicious. You should go on vacation. You deserve it.
I wonder, what if we put the solar farms on top of the data centers so that they could.
That's honestly
actually mentioned
directly power the solar power of the data
center. Also talking about putting them on Mars or the moon, or and then,
the moon gets a good bit of sun.
Now, how are you going to run that transmission wire from the moon? That's going to be a lot.
Elon Musk is doing this. I swear, it's like they're talking about doing this.
Wire
and then apparently China puts them out in the ocean.
Yeah,
which that sounds great for the environment.
So the fish will have two heads.
And when they sink, I don't know.
Infertile fish.
Yeah.
They're just, it seems like.
But we don't want that Chinese seafood in our market, so maybe
we know
maybe that's going to be a win-win.
That's some 4D chess for sure.
I mean, this is a frenzy. I mean, it is an absolute frenzy at this point. Yeah. I mean, the AI thing is a total frenzy in every single way you can look at it. And, even when you look at what the companies that are doing all the AI, they're losing money hand over fist.
Oh, yeah.
They're hiding their losses by creating separate companies.
Well, they're trying to get us all addicted to it first.
Well, right. But I mean,
and they're doing a good job.
They are, but right. They are. You're definitely mainlining the stuff, but I mean, it's like, what are we going to do when they start charging us for it?
Well, when they,
there
is a limit, to what people, I love making a goofy poster as,
sure.
As much as, and it helps for work. It really does.
I mean, I did it the other day for my dog's birthday.
I can go back to doing it, going back to the old school way of doing things. Really, it's just
photo clipping and Photoshop.
It's really just conversational Google.
Yeah, it was just really
conversational.
Remember the old days when you had to actually cut and paste a shot of tequila into your dog's hand, and now you can do it. It's easy, but you just ask it.
Yeah.
And it looks so much more realistic. Yeah. But I don't. It is. We are. When they started charging actual price to Uber and to Walmart. Those two companies blew through their entire AI budget in the first quarter.
Right. And
their
they
annual
said,
AI
just
budget.
Go back to doing the old way.
They backed off.
So that
quickly.
is a real issue.
Well, when you're losing trillions of dollars as they are as a whole.
And that's why they're not going public, for the most part.
Well, some of them are trying to, but it is, these things are it does, again, get back into the whole issue. Will these data centers even be as necessary if this is, if they start charging a lot of money and people will say, oh, wait, let's not, And
it shows up everywhere in your power bill and your, in your Walmart bill if they're, wherever.
It is, it is going to be kind of bleed through everything we do.
Yeah. I just have a kind of a question of, are the profit margins possibly so low that they're just going to ask the federal government to take it all over?
There's been talk of all that as well, the government getting involved in it. So,
we somehow, let's see, what was the latest figures that we've spent on the IRM war? $40 billion, and they're asking for another $60 billion.
Right.
Apparently we have the money somewhere.
Always. I don't, this whole thing, I don't think the genie is going to get put back in the bottle in terms of AI. I don't think that's going to happen at all. But the question is, where, it goes back to to like the Matrix. Where does the electricity come from? Does Kyle end up in a jug somewhere making electricity? Is a battery?
Maybe
I don't know.
Hurricane Kyle will be
Hurricane Kyle could generate.
Power.
That could whip up a good bit of power.
Yeah. Aren't there people who believe that is
the hurricanes
there are
create power?
Trying to build wind power, or windmills that could potentially harness the power of a hurricane.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense to me.
But apparently Kyle's hurricane won't power.
It'll fizzle. It won't power a old Hot Wheel.
Just enough to water your grass and make you cut it twice in 1 week.
That's all it's going to do.
My bagel in the morning.
All right, I will stop disparaging your hurricane, Kyle. We'll see when it gets.
Mean.
We'll see when it gets here.
He's calling you like
it's born of jealousy. I've never gotten a hurricane Rob.
Is there not a Roberta?
There's not been a Rob.
There's never been a
Rob.
I've
never heard of it. Has there been a Hurricane Grant? Has there been one?
I think there has been. There's never been a
been
Hurricane Ashley. I can tell you that.
Oh, come on. It has to have been. Yeah,
it's got to have been.
I think we've come full
circle.
But
it would be weak because it's first, and it would be.
That's not always true.
It would be worse than Kyle.
Not always true.
It'd be weaker and more pathetic than Kyle's hurricane.
Well, we've got some great names to suggest.
Bertha's causing trouble, so I don't know. We'll see.
Big Bertha.
I don't know. We need to ease off on these names that have dangerous sounds to them.
Yeah, we could get back to the Greek
Damien,
alphabet.
No, Damien. That's not. That's a bad idea.
Ancient Greek names: Hurricane Agamemnon.
Yeah, you can't have that kind of stuff. Hurricane Atlas.
Hurricane
that
Odysseus.
Yeah, those are trouble. All right, guys. Well, I think we've come full circle here on the Hurricane Talk, and We'll be back next Thursday. With the next
and we
episode of
are. I
Lagnia-POD.
do want to tease this before you go.
Tease it.
Okay, we're going to have a special Lagnia-POD with Kevin Lee coming up in a few days, where he's going to be talking about his new book called Sinners Above All Others. It's a true crime. For those of you who won't listen to that, I just want he's put together all of his true crime stories that he's done for Lagnia over the years, and added some new ones, added to the existing ones. It's got all of the notorious and salacious stories like the Arch McKay, the Colonel Dixie, the Poor Richards, George's late night murders. I mean, just really great stuff. So we're going to have a special episode with him, and we will talk about where all you can purchase it. And
you can read one of the stories this week.
That's right.
In
that's
Lagnia.
the cover story. Yeah. We have an exclusive excerpt of the Major Birchfield. He was a ballerina back in the 80s, I think.
The 80s,
yeah. And he was murdered. So we have a very good story on that. It's just one of many stories that are in the book. So.
Yeah, it's a little taste.
It is a great book. It's really a great read. And if you love true crime, it is fantastic.
And mobile history. If you love those two things, it's something you will want to put your hands on.
Yep, so. And you'll want to keep it forever and ever and ever.
Put it on your coffee table.
All right, that's all we've got. We'll see y'all next Thursday. Y'all have a great week.